You don't have to do this. You don't even need this. Most of my friends and family echoed the sentiment. They could see no reason why I wanted to start a second venture. By the grace of Ma, Honest Astrologer was doing well and it continues to do well. My calendar is booked way in advance, my videos get thousands of views, and my book continues to sell. They had a reason to be worried. With my health issues, while I was somehow powering through my daily routine and managing Honest Astrologer, but making content for this channel was getting almost impossible by the day. So this channel so far lay dormant. But the more I ignored Honest Life Coach, the more I felt the need to bring this knowledge to the people, especially the youth, particularly to the boys who are really lost. I've had a few young men working around me come to me and talk about their problems. Maybe with my son in first energy, I give out a lot of daddy vibes. Almost all of these boys who acted on my advice benefited from it, not just astrological part of it, but from the life coaching part of it. Perhaps more from the coaching part of it. These boys were mostly young with an array of problems. Some were broken hearted Devdas types who regained their logical thinking and were able to overcome emotional issues. Some were pursuing UPSC or other government exams who realized that this was the path to their ruin. Some were being forced by their parents into things that were not for them, but felt guilty saying no. Others were just plugged in blue pilled guys who wondered why the world did not make sense. I often call these young men the lost boys of India, and lost they are. They keep looking for the truth and running blind, trying to find it. They wander from useless motivation gurus on the internet to the UPSC pushing teachers to confusing religious gurus, and yes, many end up in the toxic masculinity cults like Andrew Tate and his carbon copies. And yes, then we always have our Desi elders giving bad advice since 1947. I could feel the pain of the lost boys because I had been through this myself. During the pre-internet days of my youth, I would read every book on self-development and biographies of the rich and successful, which I now realize were mostly full of lies. I also read random spiritual gurus and often took bad advice from our all-knowing Desi elders. I was what the internet calls a plugged-in blue-pilled beta male, who believed in lies like parents are Bhagwan ka roop, governments care about us, big companies are all ethical, only good things happen to good people, and hard work is the key to success. I feel like laughing and crying when I think of those days. How blind could I have been? Plugging happened in stages. First at the age of 18 when I realized a few things, but then I was dragged back into the matrix. Some part of me remained awake looking for answers. My second unplugging happened during my midlife crisis when I could not make sense of things which were happening. I had followed the script to the T. I was a good hard-working guy, listening to his elders and bosses, getting good grades at studies, working hard at my job, getting my promotions. Then why was my life such a mess? Once I realized that all that I knew was not working, it was nonsense, I plunged myself into ancient philosophy. I started with Gita but could not understand it. Then I found the Mahabharata, the C. Rajgopalachari version. And it gave me the courage and wisdom to stand up against the exploitation and gaslighting of authority figures, be it elders, parents, or bosses. This is where my lover stiff with the elders and authority figures of this country started, and it still continues. Third stage of my unplugging happened with Ketu Mahadasha. I have often said that Shani enslaves and Ketu liberates. My liberation and unplugging from the Desi matrix was brutal and made me angry and bitter. I believed so many lies in my life. And most of what I learned was false. But then what was the truth? Finally, in my Venus period, the wisdom dawned upon me and I could finally connect the dots and crack the code of the Desi matrix. At last, I could figure out how the real world worked. My sons were exposed to this knowledge at a young age and they were thrilled to learn this stuff. It showed in their personalities and the way they progressed. My elder son Aryaman insisted that I share this knowledge with the world at large, as he could see the difference in himself before and after. Thanks to his encouragement, I launched Honest Life Coach. So here I am sharing this wisdom with you. Here is the first advice. Remember, our Indian matrix is not the Venus Rahu matrix of the West. So if you are listening to that fool Andrew Tate or his cheap Desi copies, you will get into trouble. I will talk about these things in coming videos. Just stop listening to Andrew Tates of the world in the meanwhile. In coming videos, I will talk about mindset, Desi Matrix, great books, reality of system, reality of parents, reality of school, importance of health, art of manhood, living your best life, etc. Let me know in the comment section what is it that you wish me to talk about first. I am open to taking all sort of life coaching questions.